because we have these discussions, and I often think about as I have a daughter, and I think about how do you raise your daughter, right? If I'm looking at it correctly, I will raise her so that she's able to provide for herself, but her having an understanding of her role as a wife. So that's when I'm thinking about this in its entirety, that's what my focus would be. So if you meet a woman that is in her career, I'm not necessarily intimidated by that, but I will often, but just by having discussions where you can kind of see where her mindset is when it comes to how she would be in a marriage, right? Like if she knows how to turn that mindset on and off, or is she just so into a career where for whatever reason, because sometimes like a lot of women don't choose to be in a career like that. They often just decide they have to do what's necessary, what's the best thing for them to do, usually for a particular reason, right?
Well, I mean, are we going to limit it to just a career? What about just a business? You know what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
could be an entrepreneur or a business person, and sort of. I don't think that the two are far from each other. I think that you know what I'm saying. Like, let's say for an example, like she's in a career base where she gets clientels, and maybe the person she's talking to, significant other, etc., has connections in those people who could potentially make that introduction and make bridges in connection with people, right? That helps elevate her situation, probably more money, etc. I think there's a way to kind of help each other that is beneficial for the relationship, not necessarily one person or it's one sided.
Okay. I mean, anybody can feel free to add on to that unless we want to get back to the discussion. Is anybody?
Oh, oh, I was just going to get back to the discussion.
Well, I
Oh,
was going to add to something that Jasmine was saying about her friend because you had asked her if like how do they know about her success, and I got to be honest, like when dealing with women that make a certain amount of money, they tend to find ways to like flex nonstop. Like a lot of times the successful women that are turning men off, they think that the men are intimidated by their success, and it's really like a lot of those women carry this elitist kind of attitude, and they carry this like energy that just gives off that only a certain tier is good enough for them. So it's like that's not that very down to earth. So when you're thinking, yo, hey, just throw in something real quick, let's go to a coffee shop real quick. It's like, no, it has to be Starbucks. It got no, I got we let's go get something to eat real quick. No, we have to go to whatever restaurant. No, we have to be seen at these locations. If you can't just go on vacation anywhere, it gotta be one of these type of locations. And I think that gets exhausting to a lot of men. And a lot of men when they see you and they see a certain profile, they see a certain type of shoes, certain type of bag, they start ringing up dollar signs in their head and ringing up all the problems that's gonna come with that. And they're just like, nah, I'm good. I just don't want to maintain all of that. I'm good.
I think, the whole salary and high earning, I think that's like a new age thing. I don't believe my mom knew how much my dad made. She just knew to ask for what she needed and he would provide it. We need this, we need that. I need this, I need that. And, he made it happen. She wasn't busting down like, okay, oh, you got a raise, oh, you make this now, you make this. Like that wasn't a conversation that was happening in the household I grew up in or like my friend's household. The mothers and fathers, they weren't aware of the incomes that wasn't a big thing. It wasn't spoken about, and now it's a new thing because it's a trend. Like you have a lot of these men too saying, yo, I make this, I make that, I lead with this. And when you lead with that, you're gonna get a lot of the stuff that you ask for, like that's what they're gauging you by. Okay, so he's showing me this, so I'm gonna bleed him dry. If a woman's intention is not to actually be with you, if it's to be with your money and you led that way, that's what you're gonna get. And then it's gonna hurt and you're gonna complain about it. And I think, the same thing with women. They want this is like a new era where you have a lot of high earning women and they gonna let you know that shit. Like I ain't your average, I ain't your grandma, nigga. I'm out here. They're gonna lead that way and men are gonna deal with it accordingly. And it's ego. With a man, it's ego. A man, we were raised a certain way. We were raised to be tough, be providers. You know, my dad used to tell me shit like, don't you ever let a woman pay on a date. You know what I'm saying? Don't. He used to say shit like this. This was caveman shit. You know, don't you let her pay for you, nigga. So she gonna have something over you. You don't ever want, you take care of everything. You as a man, you take care of that. Like, all right, damn, on my birthday, yo, she can't even buy me a dinner. Nah, you buy that. You know what I'm saying? Just caveman shit. But that's how a lot of us were raised. So with a woman with a lot of money, that's like new shit for us. We like, I don't ever want to be in a position where a woman could be like, I bought that. I bought that hat. I bought them shoes. You know what? Get out and actually be able to tell me that shit, you know, and mean it. I'm like, damn, now I got to get out. We, you know, ego won't even allow us. So that's where the fear comes in. We never want to be in that position. So,
Gentlemen, don't ever move the needle on me.
God damn. What is that sound depressing?
I wanted to kind of speak to what Jay said. I don't necessarily think it's new. I think it's more common now. It's never been new for women to have money that they could leverage. And this is something that deals in marriage. Like the whole tradition of marriage was people who had money and resources coming together. And that's one of the reasons why Black women ourselves are not considered the desirables, because we don't have wealth to expend. But all in all, I will say that I think the intentionality of it comes about for men to sit back and realize when a woman has more money than him that she's obtained on her own. For one, she acts easily unimpressed, and for two, she's not willing to sacrifice. And it's a difference if you have a man who is trying, who will get to that level, who will plateau you, who will, be a provider in every sense of the word, such as what Jay is talking about. It's a difference when you have that type of man who will come in, but a lot of these women, they feel like, I did this, so there should be no excuse for you. And they're not willing to accept the backstory of, you probably had a different leverage over me. They're not willing to accept it. There's a huge sense of entitlement. There's also a huge sense of ego that I think it's happening here, because the first thing you will hear a woman say who does make a lot of money, especially women with six figures, is it ain't no excuse for a man. And I disagree. You really don't know what people dealing with. You really don't know who they taking care of. You really don't know what cards they were dealt. But just because you got there and the cards worked out for you, don't mean that he can't be at that level. But it's a lot of women who have made a lot of money. First thing they think of, if they deal with a man that don't make the money that they make, their lifestyle changes. They're more so concerned about sustaining a lifestyle. And when it comes down to men, it's like, I understand this is what you want. This makes you comfortable. But in time of needs, do you actually know how to go without a sacrifice? So it's a gamble all the way around.
Well, look, let me say this. I don't give a shit how much money she makes. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So it's going to be one pot if she going to get with me. I'm not going to deal with a materialistic woman. That's just not what I'm going to deal with. I'm going to accept. She could make more money, way 3 times much. I'm going to bring my little 40,000 and we're going to put it all together. We're going to be happy. We're going to figure this goddamn thing out. You're not going to hold shit over. First and next thing, I'm not going to move in with no woman that's not my wife. You're not going to hold that shit over my goddamn head. When we get a home, we're going to get a home together. So that's not going to be a problem. I'm not going to be intimidated by her money. What does that matter to me? I'm a man. I'm ahead of her. I'm already blessed. She's trying to catch up to me. She's trying to get to the same status I am just because I'm a man. Because she sees the authority that I have. She sees the leadership that I have. Now she wants to be, no, we're not going to do this. But accept your role. I'm all about gender roles. Now, if you're not for that, then you're not for me. We ain't going to make it. And that's cool.